People assume they know how high XRP can go, but most of them are looking at it the wrong way. This is why today's study is so crucial for all XRP investors. Hudson XRP News is the place to go for strong research, real-world statistics, and confirmation that XRP's future is bright. You're at the proper place if you want to know where XRP is really going, and you want to be there before the rest of the world wakes up. Before we go into the details of today's discoveries, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps me keep making these in-depth research updates that other channels don't cover. Now, let's talk about what makes the price of XRP go up and down and why the future could be much more exciting than people think. People in the crypto community are limiting XRP by only looking at market cap numbers, which is the biggest concern we see. They say that XRP can never reach $100, $200, $300, or more, since that would mean that the market cap is worth $1 trillion or more. They act like the market cap number is a wall that can't be crossed. They don't get that market cap doesn't mean real money is coming into the asset. The market cap is just a number that comes from multiplying the price by the supply. It doesn't mean that someone had to spend the whole amount of money to get to that value. If XRP's market value ever hit $1 trillion today, it wouldn't take $1 trillion to instantly buy XRP. In reality, though, this is not the case. And this misunderstanding has kept a lot of investors from recognizing what is really possible. New information has come out recently that indicates just how much real money is needed to change the price of XRP. Chad Steingraber and Zach Rector wrote a detailed report that included this information. They watched live pricing movements against money coming in and found something really surprising. They noticed that the price went up 5 cents in under 30 minutes when $4.78 million came into XRP. At first, that might not seem like much, but as you blow it up, it creates a huge picture. We were able to figure just how responsive XRP is to buying pressure thanks to this find. Zach did the math and came up with a market cap multiplier of about 598. This means that every $1 that comes into XRP can raise the market cap, entering a time when genuine institutional money, not just excitement from regular people, is moving into crypto. It's not hundreds of millions anymore. When even a small amount of that goes to XRP, we're talking about billions and even trillions going into blockchain-based financial systems. The price change could be surprising. This information is not a guess. It is based on real transactions, real money coming in, and genuine price movements that have happened recently. The multiplier may alter over time, but there is still a lot of possibility for exponential growth even if it goes down. This analysis shows that the old notion that XRP is too big to move is wrong. The truth is the contrary. XRP is set up for large volume movement and liquidity, which means that the proper kind of money may send it up in ways that most people don't expect. Not only retail affects the growth potential. It all rests on the banking system deciding that XRP is a key asset for global transactions, and that moment is drawing very close. The best chance right now is that most investors still don't get it. They are thinking about what they learned during the last bull run. At the same time, institutions are getting ready for a future in which XRP is a key part of global liquidity and cross-border settlement. It's not an issue of whether XRP can get to high values. The real question is whether regular investors will know how things work before the boom starts. Stay with Hudson XRP News because we provide you the facts based on genuine information and in-depth research so you can invest with confidence, not fear. Now that we know how a small amount of money coming in may make XRP's market cap go up a lot, let's move on to the next phase and see what this implies for the future. The crypto market is no longer just for small time traders. It is becoming a financial marketplace where big banks, hedge funds, companies, and global organizations are getting in early and setting themselves up. The story has evolved from guesswork to building things. XRP doesn't want to be the next meme coin or a short-lived trend. Its job is to link up financial systems and make sure that there is enough liquidity for real global payments. If you look at XRP that way, the money we talk about gets a lot bigger and has a lot more of an effect. Most individuals don't appropriate trains. XRP is right in front of that flow of money. With a large market cap multiplier, even a modest amount of institutional investment can make XRP's value go up to levels that people today won't accept. Accessibility is the thing that can make this movement happen. To invest a lot of money, institutional investors require goods that are regulated, compliant, and easy to understand. That's why the fact that an XRPF is becoming more likely in 2025 is so significant. Based on what people are saying currently, there is more than a 70% likelihood that we will see an XRP ETF approved this year. That opens up a whole new way for money to flow into the ecosystem. Companies don't have to actively store or handle Bitcoin for an ETF. They just buy shares, and the fund buys the XRP that backs them up. It makes things easier and more legitimate in the perspective of investors who are worried about dangers. This is when traditional finance finally gets the chance to effortlessly shift a lot of XRP. Everything we just talked about fits with a big transformation that Ripple is also going through. Ripple has been selling XRP to businesses outside of exchanges. That means these big purchasers can buy a lot of XRP without changing the price on public markets. Some people call this manipulation, but it's just how institutions keep prices from going up too much when they are accumulating. But this mechanism can only go so far. Ripple's escrow has a limit. Ripple's supply keeps going down every month. When that distribution slows down and ends, the free market will be the only place for institutions to buy. That's when the market cap multiplier turns from being a fascinating idea to an actual force. Imagine that institutions have billions of dollars ready to spend, but they can't get any XRP from a private source. They will have to utilize the same order books that we do. Every big purchase makes the price go up, and every price increase gets more people interested, gives the market more momentum, and makes it easier for money to flow. This is how assets blow up. Not because retail gets excited and starts to panic, but because the fundamentals and scarcity line up perfectly when big money comes in. What happens is the finest thing about crypto. And that is exactly what we are keeping an eye on together. We need to look beyond merely conjecture when we talk about XRP's vision and why it could reach prices that seem impossible right now. In the crypto market, real-world use cases will determine long-term value in the future. The value of XRP is directly related to what it does in the global financial system. It is meant to make it easy, quick, and cheap to transmit money across borders. The global payments industry processes more than $250 trillion every year, and XRP is in a unique position to serve that market in a way that no other cryptocurrency can compete with at scale. This is when we start to get what the numbers folks have a hard time believing. Dreams don't set high price targets. They are based on finding a solution to a trillion-dollar problem in a system that needs new ideas very badly. The technology itself is one of the best things about XRP. The XRP ledger is made to be fast. Transactions are done in seconds, not days. Costs are less than a little amount of a cent, which is much less than the high costs banks charge for wire transfers. XRP is also a neutral asset, which is much more essential. It doesn't belong to any government or country. This makes it easier for it to work as a bridge between multiple fiat currencies. Most people probably don't think about cross-border settlement, but every global bank, every remittance provider, and every multinational firm needs it. Those transactions are now very slow and very costly. XRP wants to make it a lot better. It doesn't happen overnight that institutional structures evolve. They need trust, cooperation, and clear rules from the government. Ripple has been in a long legal struggle with the SEC for the past few years. If it had happened, most cryptocurrencies would have died. XRP not only survived, but it also made more relationships around the world while the case was going on. That strength says a lot. It means that banks and other financial organizations still believe in Ripple's proposal. It also means that once the rules are clear, institutions will feel safer about entering the ecosystem on a large scale. This change is already starting to happen. More alliances, new corridors, more testing, and information straight from those who work in the business. We know that Ripple is working with some of the biggest banks and other financial companies in the world. We need to know the people who are making progress in order to appreciate the future. Ripple's executive team is made up of people with a lot of experience who have worked for big banks like Morgan Stanley and BlackRock. These businesses don't hire people who don't have a vision. Their presence makes it clear who Ripple is working with. They know what institutions want. They know which systems need to be updated, and they have the proper networks in place for a lot of people to use them in the long run. This isn't just talk. This is a plan. Timing is also very important. Speculation comes first in crypto cycles, followed by utility. XRP is starting to be useful. That is the most important thing. People all over the world are getting ready for digital changes in finance. Central banks are looking into CBDCs. Tokenization of assets is moving faster. Banks are slowly adding blockchain pilots that are testing settlement solutions behind the scenes. Many of these trial applications use XRP. When big companies choose an asset to utilize for liquidity, they need to choose something that has been tested, can grow, is quick, has regulatory support, and is trusted by the industry. XRP is one of the rare assets that meets all of the requirements. We are currently at a point when everything XRP was made for is coming together at the same time. Systems are virtually ready, demand is rising, and supply is getting tighter. From the point of view of a professional analyst at Hudson XRP News, the data provides a very obvious story. We're not talking about a tiny rise in we're talking about a big change in how money goes across the world that will make prices go up a lot more than they are now. People who think XRP's potential is limited just aren't thinking about how big the problem it solves is. We want to assist people comprehend the future before the price goes up. As we get closer to the real figures that could cause XRP to break out in a big way, we need to look at how price patterns from past cycles can help us predict how it will do in the future. The markets are not random. They move in cycles that are caused by psychology, liquidity, and events that happen. We can see a pattern that is virtually exactly the same today when we look at XRP's past prices, especially the big jump in 2017. This kind of chart behavior isn't always there, but it's a strong sign that history might be about to repeat itself on a far larger scale. In 2017, the price of XRP went from a few cents to several dollars in just a few months. That happened when there wasn't any institutional engagement and the rules were very unclear. The foundation is much stronger now. That suggests that a similar pattern could lead to even better results. We can see a clear protracted consolidation period after large peaks on the present chart. This is good for you. It signifies that the asset is getting stronger instead of weaker. Consolidation makes a base where big orders can build up without making the price go up too quickly. A lot of investors don't get this period. They believe that slow movement implies no chance. The market is literally storing energy right now. Every time XRP goes back to a previous resistance region and stays there, confidence grows and volatility builds in the background. As soon as the market breaks out of this structure, the move happens swiftly. That is exactly what happened during the bull run of 2017, and the same thing is happening again. There has been a pattern of a symmetrical triangle forming, a traditional sign that prices are getting tighter before they break out. This pattern shows that buyers are slowly gaining greater power while sellers are losing strength. When the price keeps hitting the higher resistance line, it means that demand is going up. XRP is right now in that important area. This is what traders term the coiled spring phase. When the breakout happens, there isn't usually enough liquidity at lower prices to stop prices from going up. This chart setup gets more stronger when you think about everything we've talked about so far, such the market cap multiplier effect, the lower supply of escrow, the visibility of ETFs, and the demand from institutions. Another key thing to think about is how people think about the market. During the years of the lawsuit, a lot of investors stopped paying attention to XRP. They thought the asset would never move. The strongest hands discreetly built up throughout that time. Institutions often see retail fear as a chance. When things get clearer and the news gets exciting again, the same investors who were unsure about XRP will rush back in to make sure they don't miss the breakout. When both retail and institutional interest are in sync, prices move with a lot of power.